The mind is a powerful place. We all know that, right? We can agree. What's in our mind drives us to succeed. It drives us to achieve. What's also in our mind can drive us to depression and hopelessness, because what's in our mind, the things that we think about, drive the way we feel and drive our actions, drive our behaviors, and drive the way we treat the people around us. That's why in Romans chapter 12, Paul talks about renewing our mind. But that's a hard concept to wrap our minds around. So in this video, we'll talk about how we might be able to take the next step. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian, and this is Practically Biblical. This channel is all about sharing stories of Scripture and offering practical insights that I hope encourage you to explore the Bible more for yourself. So whether you're a longtime student of the Bible, someone who's never picked up a Bible, or you find yourself somewhere in between those two extremes, I'm glad you stopped by. There's so much more to cover. We're only 16 videos in, so be sure you subscribe to this channel and continue on with me in this journey. Now let's jump into today's story. The lyrics I'm about to show you come from one of my favorite songs that I've had on repeat for almost a year now. They come from The Search by NF. If you know the song, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've never heard the song, I'll post a link in the description. Be sure you check it out. It's well worth a listen. But in that song, The Search, NF says these words: "The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place, and what you feed it can affect you in a powerful way." It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Now, we've heard things like that before. What we put in our minds controls the things we think about, the ways that we act, and the ways that we treat people around us. You see, that's not just true for us today. That's been true of humanity for all of time. Eve, when she let her curiosity get the best of her, she ate the forbidden fruit. Cain, when he was overwhelmed by jealousy and rage, murdered his brother. And Jacob, when he saw an opportunity to lie, cheat, and steal his way into his father's blessing, he took it. And those are some of the first stories we see and we read about the human condition in all of the Bible. That's why Paul is so intent on urging his audience to renew their minds. He knew behaviors wouldn't change, and the world, as a result, wouldn't change until our individual mindsets changed. It was a theme in many of the letters that he wrote that make up a good chunk of our New Testament. But before he signed off in his letter that he wrote to the Philippians, and you can read in chapter 4, verse 8 of the book of Philippians, he says this: "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Now, I'll admit, a long time ago when I first read these verses and I was immature in my faith, I thought this meant that everything was supposed to be sunshine and rainbows and dancing around in wide open fields of tall green grass. You know, the things that fantasy sequences are made up in movies. But make no mistake, that's not at all what Paul was talking about in these verses. It's not about being happy-go-lucky all the time and slapping a smile on our face 24/7. We recognize that we experience hardship, we experience pain, we experience injustice. And to not acknowledge that would be to live in denial. But what this verse does say is that when we set our minds on these things, what is right, what is true, what is noble, what is admirable, what is excellent and praiseworthy and pure and lovely, everything that Paul talks about that we just read in this verse, when we set our minds on those things, it will change the way that we live. Our minds will be renewed. Let's look, for example, what would happen if we set our minds on what is right. Not just what we think is right now, not just what we grew up believing was right, but we truly set our minds on discovering and pondering that which is truly right. We might begin to see injustice where we never saw it before. We might feel compassion in a situation that otherwise might not have alarmed us. And we might begin to speak up for people in situations that we might have ignored and overlooked in the past. You see, when we pursue these things like Paul urges us to in this passage, it will transform our minds. It will change our thinking. And that's not a comfortable process, but as our minds are transformed, our behaviors and our actions towards the world around us will change. And that is what has the power to change the world. And I think we can all agree that this world that we live in could use a little change. Hey, thanks for watching. I would love to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what you think about this passage that I just read from Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Then if you like this video, let me know by hitting that thumbs up icon, and then consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my most recent videos over here, and then come back next week and continue to journey with me right here on Practically Biblical.